as your host, running back 15-1. In the line, we have Pedro and Churre as my co-host, but today he's gonna be in the hot seat because I know you have a lot to say, right, Pedro?
Yeah, I got a couple things to say, and it all stems around the playoffs. I don't know. I find it hilarious, Alfredo, that we keep harkening back to who's going to make the playoffs, and I want everybody to know that at this moment in time, this is just speculation. This is just off of reputation, off of the guys that we know are just that damn good. And then there are other guys that are just clawing and scratching to get to where they need to go to make it to the promised land. And Alfredo, I am happy to have you here today to discuss this.
Absolutely, man. I know you have a lot to say. You definitely wanted to bring this on and talk about it. So now before we get on, so I know you wanted to get into the podcast to talk about the playoffs. What's your thoughts? As you know, the clowns earlier today, well, from yesterday, gave
Mhm.
a response to our podcast the other day. They wanted to go ahead and give the response. Any quick thoughts on both of those clowns? What they had to say?
Oh, Alfredo, what can I say, bro? And the clowns love to get on their podcast and talk about us. They like I think that they have a podcast just to talk about us. They do their podcast obviously, and they have to talk about other things because it can't just be about us. So they have to always mention and is always franking with the Steven. Hey, did you happen to catch the Two versus Brother podcast last night?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's funny, bro? You know what's the funniest thing, bro? Is
What?
that
Steven, we love
they
you
they
too, bro.
they, they know they done. I mean, they're talking about our production, but here's the thing: we are the only podcast in this league that we put our face where the world can see us. We don't do it through the phone. We don't do it. We take our time and we do it live. Nah, we don't do talk and then we send it out to the chat. No, 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 no. We do it live. And that's what happens. There's always some mishaps when you're doing it live, but it's live. It's real. You guys get the that podcast in the morning, and you get us here at night. So
Prime
the
time.
Guru prime time, the Guru League is well represented. So I know you wanted to get that out of the way. Um, you know, let's move on to our topic for today. And the clowns earlier talked about the teams that were the favorites to go to the clown. But we're gonna go the other way. Your thoughts. You wanted to, in a way, this year, as you know, we're gonna have 7 teams that are gonna clinch the playoffs.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go ahead and mention those 7 teams who you think are gonna make the playoff. Obviously, we don't have a full roster, but we do have the kickers. We know the draft situation, even though there's trades being worked in the background.
Yeah.
We had a trade earlier today with Danny and Nick. I don't know if you had a chance to see it. They did some swapping of draft picks.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously, I think we're gonna be getting more of those. So Pedro, so
Now
let's
that it's allowed.
exactly. Since there's live, that more else can be happening as we speak. So talking about, as you know, this year we're gonna have 7 teams. For 17th playoff compared to 6 that we had it the other year. It's going to be 7. One will have the bye, and then 2 to 7. So we're not go with any specific rankings, or we're not going to put who's going to have the bye. We're not going to do that. That would be too much for right now. We're
Mm.
just going to pick 7 teams. So Pedro, who do you have as your first team? Who you think is going to make the playoff, and tell us why.
Well, look, I'm going to start with someone who's very obvious as a staple in the playoffs for the last few years. Well, for the majority of the time that we've been in this league. And I'm going to start with yourself, Alfredo. Obviously, yeah, we kind of touched on it last time we were on regarding Josh Allen being in the playoff picture and in the finals for the past 3 years. So you started off picking a really good guy, a guy that can take you the distance and has done it before for not just yourself, but for KMA in the past. So, and then of course you have the consensus number one pick in Ja'Marr Chase. You know, I haven't always been a Ja'Marr Chase fan, but he proved me wrong last time. And he turned out to be the number one producer pretty much in all of fantasy football. And Joe Burrow throwing him that rock, and he made the most of it. So I have to say that situation with you is really good. And of course, you have an up and coming running back, Bucky Irving. Awesome. So I'm not gonna go crazy on you. I'm not gonna have a lot to say necessarily about you, Alfredo. But I believe that the type of owner that you are gonna be able to make the necessary moves to get you there.
Of course. No, absolutely. And I know you're going to add, I know you want to be too nice, but you're also going to add in that I always get some certain luck. I'm going to have some victories where the pigeons are going to favor it to me, that I'm going to get some, that I'm like Danny says, I allow the fewest points or favorable schedule. Like, we saw today with the favorable schedule that I'm possibly going to be ending up against you, Steven, and Jonathan. So, I mean, I know you always want to add to that. But yeah, thank you for adding me. I know Franklin had me out of the playoff. You have me in. So let's move on to the second team. So who do you have as your second team to make the playoffs?
Well, I'm going to put it as a little bit of a shocker. So, I told you I'm going to start with a very obvious one. Here is the next guy that I'm going to talk about that I think is very underrated this year. And I don't understand why that everybody has him out of the playoffs. But I'm going to talk about somebody you just brought up a few moments ago, that we brought up a few moments ago, KMA. KMA has been in the playoff picture for the past few years, and he has been the champion twice. So
yeah.
We were just, and this is something this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this whole topic up. I think it was Armando that brought it up, how that KMA trying to go for another championship this year will make him pretty much a dynasty, because you didn't win 1 year, but you won 2, and now on the fourth try you're going for another championship, and he is going with the guys that he is 100% sure can get him there. And I believe so too. I believe that Christian McCaffrey can win you a league all by himself. The only thing that needs to happen is he needs to stay healthy.
But let me ask you, are you talking about the Chris McCaffrey of 2 or 3 years ago? Because we are in 2025. Can McCaffrey be that same guy to carry you to the championship?
Of course, Alfredo. Look,
he's 30 years old.
A lot of things a lot of things have changed in the world. A few years ago, we were living in COVID land, and we weren't able to do it, and we weren't able to go out. And things have changed. Look at you. Look at all that gray hair you have on your head, on your beard. Come on, bro. Things have changed, and I'm sure that Christian McCaffrey has given you a gray hair or two just thinking about facing him. So
no, I've been lucky enough to not be facing him at all. I've always avoided facing Christian McCaffrey. But again, I mean, Pedro, I know you put KMA, but just because of Christian McCaffrey, is that a reason why you putting him in the playoff?
No. Also, like I told you, there's not a lot of things that have changed. Christian McCaffrey is still a league winner for anybody that picks him. It's just, can he be a league winner, or can he hurt you? And in this case, I think Christian McCaffrey is healthy. I haven't heard anything about him not being healthy. So that's and obviously that's a league winner. I'm not going to repeat on it anymore. But then you have another guy that he's keeping, Derrick Henry. This has been the Iron Man of football, and a position that technically breaks down. How else are we gonna put this guy? How many years have we been saying this guy is dust? He's done. We can't count on him anymore. He is gonna go until he decides to stop. And
eventually it's gonna happen. Eventually he will be gone.
It hasn't happened yet. He hasn't suffered any necessarily big injuries. He takes care of his body. He's in a team that runs the ball. There's no and it suits him. Obviously, he's not a guy that's going to catch up 50 passes a year, but he does enough with his legs so that he will make things happen. Now, I will move on to one more guy because he is keeping the one like a special talent. I think that this guy is good. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing him balls, and I don't foresee this guy having a bad year. Now the name escapes me.
DK Metcalf.
DK, yeah. You remember that trade that you and me did? This is the DK you want.
I hope you did your research, because if not, you know that Steven and Franklin's gonna call you out for not doing your research. So hopefully.
And since when has that bothered me? The clown's calling out a clown. All right. But at the end of the day, look, DK Metcalf, in my opinion, has been a good receiver, especially last year in the beginning. He did very well. And then at the end, obviously he got injured and it wasn't effective anymore. But now he's going to a new team and he has Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. Now, we saw what Davante Adams did when Aaron Rodgers was throwing him the ball over there on the Jets. Obviously, they had two number one wide receivers, and they couldn't have two guys really be really good because there wasn't enough volume for both of those guys. But now it's just pretty much DK Metcalf because we don't have a George Pickens there anymore to be able to like funnel passes to. So
but Pedro, as a 4th round pick, I think DK Metcalf, he is a solid guy. Again, another older. I mean, we noticed some pattern from K-May and the guys that he had. They're all past 30 years old, almost all of them. They're kind of like with several injuries. DK Metcalf, I mean, but as a 4th round keeper, I mean, do you think that's maybe a heavy price tag? Look, I mean, our friend Steven, JSN, much younger guy from the same team, has him as a keeper as a way later round.
Well, JSN's
Judy as a 10th round.
Huh? JSN's on the Seahawks. But
yes, I know, but I'm comparing the keepers situation. DK Metcalf cost Jonathan a 4th round pick.
Yes.
Similar talent as him is someone like JSN. And that's worth a late round keeper for Steven, right? 10th round or 11th, exactly. Would you rather have an 11th round or 10th round, let's say JSN, or a 4th round DK?
No, I'm not discussing value. Obviously, at JSN in the 10th is a better value than DK in the 4th. But this is the hand that he was dealt. I think that him letting go of Kyren Williams was a good decision. Why would he keep 3 running backs? This is a PPR league.
No, I get it. But then again, who's going to be his quarterback? I mean, I know this is your selection.
Yes,
I mean, that's fine.
Remember, this guy has been in the playoffs for the past few years. I am making this. Remember, I put it in the beginning. This guy is a platinum player, supposedly by Yahoo and everybody else. He makes good decisions, and he makes the best of any situation. I think that if he makes decent picks, just decent picks in the draft, and then doesn't mess up during the year, he'll make it to the playoffs easy.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to your 3rd team.
Now, my 3rd team. This is another guy that I think is more of it. I want to say is a lock, because keeping 3 guys at 1, 2, and 3 is not a decision that I would want to go. But these guys are pretty good talents, and I'm going to be talking about Ralphie, your arch nemesis, the guy that you hate more than anybody in the world, besides me, of course. But
no, I love you, bro. I love you. You're my brother. But Ralphie, yeah, that guy,
But bro, yeah, Ralphie, man. Ralphie's keeping Puka Nacua, which that Matthew Stafford situation is very scary. I think it's scary. But this guy, Matthew Stafford, is dealing with this back injury for a while. This is not new. From my understanding, he's been having back injuries since Detroit. So this is not something that I think is that is anything new for Matthew Stafford. Maybe now with the age is becoming more of an issue, but I am 100% sure that organization is taking care of him because we all know that is the reason why they have been as good as they have been. Matthew Stafford throwing that ball, and obviously Kyren Williams behind the line of scrimmage. But then Puka Nacua came into the picture, and he has been balling. I know that you didn't believe in Puka Nacua when he first came into the league, but
Yeah.
I pretty much always believed when I first saw him play. So,
But let me ask you this, Pedro. Is he the only receiver for the team? Because I think they signed another very good receiver.
Davante Adams, correct.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I don't think look, we have seen in this offense 2 wide receivers eat. We have seen it for a long time. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. They have been both 1,000-yard receivers.
I'm sorry, Robert Woods have never been a solid fantasy football player. Only at one stretch. He had a stretch.
He had a stretch. That's what I'm talking about.
But a very small stretch, maybe like half a season.
Okay,
but
so
nothing.
Robert Woods was a bad was a mediocre receiver. He had 1,000 yards. They were able to. This offense was able to support 2 wide receivers. So Davante Adams is a better prospect, obviously, than Robert Woods. I'm not comparing Robert Woods to Davante Adams, but even last year we saw Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. And when Cooper Kupp was not injured in the beginning of the year, we all called Ralphie crazy. We're like, why would you have 2 receivers in the same team? That's crazy. I had 2 from the same team, and you're going to start both of them. And it's such a high pick when I believe when they got him, we thought that he was crazy, but he knew more than we did.
But then, putting it in Ralphie's situation, not because I hate him, but Ralphie, so he gets to pick in round 4.
Correct.
When round 4 gets to it, people like Danny will have 6 picks before it gets to Ralphie.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have Steven with 5 picks before it gets to Ralphie. We're going to have yourself with 6 picks before it gets to Ralphie.
Definitely. Well,
you're telling me?
I think Steven has 7 picks at that point.
7 picks, possibly, before it gets to Ralphie.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me, and I'll tell you this, we were talking about Franklin all year long, that I always said that Franklin, because of his 3 guys, that he depth, I mean, Ralphie is going to be in that same situation. But okay.
But I have more trust in Ralphie getting it done because we saw him last year. Every pick that he pretty much made was a dot. That he picked the correct person in every round, and everything from the number 1 pick all the way to the 10th round were solid.
You trust him more than Franklin?
Yeah, I would say I trust him more than Franklin. Franklin has been dodgy for a couple, and we call him the Dallas Cowboys for a reason.
Yeah, we sure do.
Okay, but we'll talk about Franklin later.
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll get to talk to him as one of your playoffs. So let's talk about team number 4. So who do you have as your 4th team to make the playoff?
Well, I'm gonna put a little bit of a homer thing. I'm gonna talk about myself. I think that I am in a decent situation now. One thing that kind of scares me about my team is that whole Xavier Worthy situation, because Rashee Rice is saying if things are coming together as if he's going to play the first maybe 4 to 6 games, and then maybe he might have another game or 2 before a decision comes down. So because the league wanted 10 games and the Rashee Rice camp wants to have less games than that, but depending on how the situation arises and how things move forward, he may play a significant portion of the year, depending on how long it takes to get a decision. Because just because they have a hearing doesn't necessarily mean there'll be a decision coming that same week. So it could be that he decides to take that he has Rashee Rice. For instance, Steven in this case has Rashee Rice. And because Rashee Rice is on the field, Xavier Worthy is somewhat nullified. But this is another thing that I wanted to bring up. This is the other side of the coin. You can't take what he did towards the end of the year out of the bottle. That's it. We know what Xavier Worthy is capable of. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. That's it. This is a guy that runs a 40 time, one of the fastest 40 times of all time. Recorded, fastest 40 time of all time. So how are we gonna say that this guy is not gonna be good? You know, he has to be good in a Patrick Mahomes led offense, and an offense that is saying that are projected to throw more this year than they have in years past. So especially with that running back situation being as shaky as it is. So I believe that Xavier Worthy is going to be a good pick. Now, Ladd McConkey came in like hot at the end of the year. We saw him in that playoff game. Man, I think it was like 189 yards, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Bro, that's a lot of yards for a playoff game when you are supposed to be facing better defenses. It's incredible. And then when I hear that the offensive coordinator is saying, "Oh, yeah, we're going to be throwing more this year. We're definitely going to get Ladd McConkey the ball more." But then, on that same token, we have Keenan Allen.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. Aren't you worried that Keenan Allen might affect you?
Well, yeah, I expect Keenan Allen to have a better season than he did in Chicago for sure. But Keenan Allen's already an older wide receiver. That kind of makes it seem to me that he's going to be more in maybe 3 wide receiver sets than in 2 wide receiver sets, because I expect Ladd McConkey to be on the field very often. And we already know that they have a connection, Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey. So that doesn't bother me as much. And of course, T.J. Hawkinson. What do we have to say about that top 5 tight end? 3 weeks without having Addison on the offense. Building more of a rapport with he's not a rookie anymore, J.J. McCarthy, but this is pretty much his rookie
year. Yeah. So, no, absolutely. And then you have your 3 picks. You know, if you do what you're supposed to do.
11 and 12. These guys are going late, and on top of that, for everything from the 1st all the way down to the 9th, I am free to pick anything I want. I'm free to make trades. I'm free to do whatever it is that I want to do. So, guys, give me a call.
Now, let me ask you this, because you said that owners, and I'm going to throw this back at you, and probably some people might have the same question. You said that owners' actions demonstrate also will be a reason why. So what would make us think that this year, because you have made some questionable decisions in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why would this year be different?
I'm not trading with Franklin.
But it requires a little bit more than just trading with Franklin. There's just been some stuff that
definitely. Look,
why would this year be different?
Because this year it seems like, in my opinion, because this is me, obviously, I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
I see myself being in a better situation, having that whole first round in front of me, being able to have depth on my team, and being able to, let's say I hit on a few guys. I say 3, 4, 5 guys I really hit on. Those are guys that are going to be key contributors to my team, and they're not guys that I got very early. They're guys that I got in the middle rounds. Maybe, who knows? It's better to have guys. Let's put it simple. Leagues are won when you hit on late picks. If you hit on later picks, you win. You can win your league, because we expect guys that you get in the first few rounds to be studs. Let's be honest. But if you get guys,
seasons could be ended by missing early round picks.
Correct. This is part of the reason why I lost last year, because Garrett Wilson was not a stud. Well, he is a stud. It's just the offense. The Jets' offense is terrible. So this is part of the reason why. If you were to look at the playoff picture last year, the guys that had the best draft were in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we got 4 teams. So you got the 4 teams was KMA, was myself, was Ralph and yourself. 4 teams.
Correct.
3 teams to go. Who do you have? I mean, I know somebody's gonna get upset. So who do you have as your 15?
Well, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to say somebody that a lot of people aren't discussing is Steven. I expect Steven to make the playoffs
Me
because
too.
yeah, because it doesn't, bro. You can't have all the wealth of draft picks because I think Koki's brought it up. He has so much wealth at draft picks, and he drafted well last year. Like in the late rounds, if I remember correctly, he was the one that drafted a bunch of guys that he ended up letting go. It was
McConkey, Bowers, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
he let
yeah.
go of them, and he would those guys would have been on his team. He would have had a great keeper situation going into this year, and we would be talking about him becoming one of the best this year instead of maybe Danny. So
No, absolutely. I mean, now the thing is, maybe he got it caught into the hype with Danny about trades and this
yeah,
and he
that's what.
probably and I think that's what made that was his downfall. I think if he
Mhm.
just he gave the commitment that he was going to be patient, but I will tell you, I mean, he hasn't demonstrated. I mean, some people say that they'll stop drinking or not be alcoholic or they let go of drugs, but they go back to it. I mean, Steven already made a trade this year, 2 trades
Two
actually.
trades, yeah,
So what makes you think that this year's team is going to be different and not he's not going to throw himself?
bro. It's just that you you got to feel for Steven, bro. Steven was this close to becoming a clown, bro. This close. And I think that if Steven, he said it himself, if he would have become a clown, he probably wouldn't have been back this year. So, and I think that kind of got into his head how close he became with being the clown, that he knows that he needs to change. Alfredo, how many times have you seen people that they have to hit the wall or they have to be so close to hitting the wall for them to be like, man, I gotta make a change. And this is the change that I think that this is the when he was facing the clown costume right in the face. He was this close,
Ready to put in his head,
ready
yes.
to put it on. It was like the mask. Put it
Yep.
on, and then it comes on. But he was this close, and then everybody making fun of him because that's the fun. That's the thing. That's the messed up part about it is that everybody was making fun of him. Everybody was there like we're picking on him. Danny slapping the nose on him, bro. It's terrible, bro. It's terrible. But at the end of the day, this is why I think that he's gonna do. He is gonna forget about all that in the past, and he's gonna do a good job.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. We I think we expect the wise man to bounce back. Okay. So we have 2 more teams left, Pedro. I mean, just based
Mhm.
on the people that I'm kind of surprised. Somebody within look at the names that haven't been mentioned so far. You have the Shark, you have Franklin, and you have Danny, and you have the 2 new members, Alex and Nick, which haven't been mentioned at all.
Yes.
One of those guys, 3 of those guys are going to be disappointed. So who do you have as your 6th team?
Well, this is a guy that I think that will make the playoffs, but it's going to be a something that a lot of people are talking about that maybe he made bad decisions or maybe a keeper that he kept wasn't necessarily the best choice after a certain I guess friend threw a pigeon at him.
Pigeon
Um,
3. Pigeon 3.
yeah,
Pigeon activities.
yeah, pigeon activities have been going down, and pigeons have been real quiet lately until they decided to show up. But yeah, I'm going to talk about Alex. I think Alex will make the playoffs. Devon A. Chain. Yeah, we're calling him the Batman, right? We're calling instead of Alex because I don't want to differentiate. I think that Alex will make the playoffs. Devon A. Chain is a stud. Maybe if he doesn't play week 1, week 2, big whoop, bro. He still has a good team around him. He's gonna make the playoffs, bro. I'm not worried about it. He's making moves. It's just he's gonna make the playoffs. Let's
Okay.
just leave it like that.
I mean, he has a good situation as well. I mean, other than, I mean, even if A Chain is not the person who we think, But I mean, he has Joe Burrow, and which is a guy who I thought Franklin should have taken. He has Joe Burrow. T. Higgins might be his second overall pick. He has Jonathan Taylor. So he has a good situation there. So I mean, there's no reason why Alex wouldn't be in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
pretty much, man. He locked up two really good running backs. He has a good quarterback. It's like he only has to worry about hitting on wide receivers at this point.
Okay.
So he's
Okay.
good, man. He's good. The last guy.
The last guy, and let me just put it into this: the last guy. Look at these three names that haven't been mentioned so far. Again, consistent people, and then I know there's other people, but these are the three that we always talk about: the Shark, Franklin, and the Fly.
Mm-hmm.
Two of these guys are not going to make the playoff based on your projection.
Yeah.
For me, it'll be a fantasy because I would love for this to happen.
Wouldn't it be a fantasy for you to see Alex the Shark and Franklin, no excuses, fighting for the Clown Bowl?
That'd be great. Or maybe even Danny. Who knows?
Maybe Danny. Who knows?
I would pay. I would do whatever it takes to see Franklin in the Clown Bowl. I would do whatever.
Why don't you have the pigeons, bro? You have the power.
I would do whatever it takes. That story that he gave Epiphany about the pigeon is gonna come back to bite him. I would love to see that. Pedro, I hope, bro. I hope that your prediction is right. So who do you have as your seventh team to make the playoff?
Well, Fredo, I hate to break it to you. I know that you have your issues with this guy, and you call him the Fly for a reason. Danny will make the playoffs.
Danny, so you have Danny the Fly, so he will return to the playoff.
Yes.
And I mean, go ahead, shoot. Why do you think he's going to make the playoff?
Bro, you can't have that team the way that he has it set up. Jaden Daniels, which is in every mock draft that I've seen, besides the ones that we do in this league, because obviously he's not available, he goes pretty high, bro. He's one of the top. He's, in my opinion, one of the top 5 running backs, quarterbacks that's going to be this year. And I don't think it's going to be like a CJ Stroud situation. He's going to be good, and he looks to have better receiving options this year. Deebo Samuel is back, and he's in this offense. We're going to have McLaurin in the offense.
He's not. He hasn't even signed yet.
Doesn't matter. He'll be back, bro. Come on. You expect him not to come back? He's 30-something years old. Who's not gonna come back?
No, I get it. I mean, I do agree. Jaden Daniels, I think no matter who's there, he's gonna do great. I do think that this year there's 4 elite quarterbacks that I think if you have them, you already are ahead of the curve. Is Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jaden Daniels. And this guy, Danny has him.
Danny has him, and then he has, of course, the first overall pick. So he could pick anyone he wants. We all say Gianti, but he can pick anybody he really wants. And
who would he pick? Yeah, who else?
No, I expect it to be Gianti, but if he let's say he says, you know what, forget about it. I like Kyrie Williams better, and he can pick Kyrie Williams. It doesn't matter. He can pick whoever he wants.
He can go back to his Daniels team. Kyrie Williams was part of his team. Yeah,
exactly. So, bro, look. The sky is the limit. Brock Bowers is expected to be a top tight end in the National Football League. There's a reason why this guy played so well last year. This guy is good, man. People just don't throw the ball to anybody in the NFL, and he did very well in his rookie season. It reminded me of Laporta a little bit when he first started. And as we saw, Laporta started off slow last year, but he came into his own later on in the year. So it's a very similar situation. We know how that burned you, Alfredo. So
yeah. So I mean, I'll tell you this. So you're trying to say that Danny has probably a very good situation. He has to be like really bad to mess it up.
He has to not hit on any picks to mess it up.
Quick take. What would be the biggest disappointment in fantasy football history in our league? Danny not winning the championship with that Thanos team, or Danny not making the playoff with the supposed team? What would be the biggest disappointment in your eyes?
I think in him not making the playoffs now, because just because you have a great team, that doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna perform every week. But if you don't make the playoffs in this league with that team, that means they didn't perform at all for you pretty much the whole year.
Well, I mean, you're a bad person. You're a bad owner because you have to remember we're talking about setups. We don't know who he's gonna draft, but based on the setup, based on people that he's projected to pick,
Yeah, it to me. It sounds is like if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, he might as well just pack it up, bro. All these trades that you end up doing. Reevaluate your life because this is not something that all these trades and all these things that you do isn't working. And even though he set himself up so well for this year to not make the playoffs after flirting basically with the Clown Bowl last year, bro.
So I think that would be a bigger disappointment than not winning the championship with the Thanos team.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So we have Pedro, your 7 teams that you have projected. You want to go say the 7 teams?
Well, Fredo, I'll let you do it.
So the 7 teams we're going to have, according to you, is going to be myself, KMA, yourself, Steven, Danny, Alex, and Ralphie.
And Ralphie, yes.
So then that means there's 5 teams who didn't make it. We're going to talk about Nick, in your thing, didn't make it. Los Coquis, maybe not much of a surprise, didn't make it. Who are we missing? Armando, our dear podcast partner. You have Armando not making the playoffs, so that's kind of a surprise there. You have Alex, someone who an original, and then obviously your dear friend Franklin not making the playoffs. Let me just repeat this. According to Pedro, Franklin will not make the playoffs. So you're telling me that a team that has Justin Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Chase Brown will not make the playoffs?
I have a sneaking suspicion he's not making the playoffs.
Do you believe that this might be one of the biggest disappointments, the same way as we put it with Danny? Do you think this will be probably the biggest disappointment or one of the biggest ones we ever had in this league?
Well, I'll put it like this for you. I think that due to the failure of Franklin not making the playoffs this year will make each and every owner reevaluate their keeper situations for years to come. Meaning they will not be – a lot of people probably won't be keeping players 1, 2, and 3, or just in the top 2 rounds to be able to have depth later on.
So I guess that's the theme that we've been having based on your selections. You're basically picking out, with the exception of Ralphie, but you're selecting teams that have depth. So you're evaluating that depth is the most important factor, not superstars.
No, not superstars. Just because, Alfredo, you knowing what you know about finances, I would tell you this. If you have a 401k or you are just picking stocks and all you pick are blue chip stocks, you will not get rich.
Correct. You have to diversify.
You have to pick the Teslas before they become Tesla. And
correct. Not put all your eggs in one basket.
Correct.
Okay. So, I mean, this is a lesson that all of us, hopefully will get to take. I mean, Pedro, I would love for this to happen because, even though Armando, I would like for it to make the playoff, but it's okay. But I would love to see Frank. The only problem is that if he doesn't make the playoff, can you imagine how depressing those podcasts would be? Yeah, I would see Steven would have to be the one carrying that podcast. So, especially,
I think that the Guru podcast will go defunct as soon as something around the lines of 4 and no, let's put it. No, I can't put it that I can't put it that low, but yeah, something where he wouldn't make the playoffs. Like he'll be just. And to be honest, look, I think it's going to be more like that. That he's just going to be right on the outs. So it's not going to be something that he will be in the Clown Bowl because obviously the brackets changed now. Only the last two teams are in the Clown Bowl. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Clowns, they're going to have a fit tomorrow in that podcast. Pedro.
And I have the day off tomorrow, so I'm going to be able to hear everything.
Okay, excellent. But Pedro, I mean, for sure, contrary to what people told you, I think you did your research. Very thorough, very good explanation. I think I think the question I asked you earlier, why this year will be different, I think we have you more committed to our league. You know, all the distractions are put to the side, and you're here, you're focused, and you're going to make this your priority. But good job, Pedro. Thank you. And then we're going to get more for the Two versus Blood podcast, the number one podcast in the world, the real number one podcast.
Prime time.
Prime time. Thank you, Pedro. And we'll talk for another day.